Right, so where Donald Trump has walked back on his Gaza takeover plan and then doubled down on it afterwards, sending his own staff into a spin, let alone anyone having had the misfortune to listen to him, the harm words can do is already being demonstrated, as Israel have already begun preparations to carry out the removal of the people of Gaza. The Israeli army now literally having been ordered to draw up plans for the removal of all of the people of Gaza by land, sea and air. Though where exactly they are going to be sent to is another matter entirely. It is enough that the President of the United States has floated the idea of removing everyone from Gaza to rebuild it for Israel to point to it as a justifiable option, though, and begin plans to make it so, as impossible as that might seem to achieve. But with Israel's ability to get away with literally whatever it wants to do, and with too many Western leaders so in hoc to the Israel lobby they'll protect Israel at every turn, side with them and support them, the UN stymied by US vetoes and the like, what assurances and securities could ever be presented to the people of Gaza, especially when aid is still being blocked by Israel into the Strip? And will that worsen with plans to just remove the people being pushed ahead with? There would ever be enough for them to accept. Israel needs to be stopped, and Trump needs to stop encouraging their racist insanity. Right, so the US administration, Trump's dozy spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt, God I wish she would, and others are all trying to row back on Trump's suggestion of the US takeover of Gaza in order to rebuild it. Likely with a Trump casino, a Trump golf course, a Trump Gaza Lago, if you will. All I'm sure for the benefit of the people of Gaza to return to. Yeah, right. Where Trump has also attempted to row back on what he'd said, though, emphasis on the temporary removal of the Gazan people now, he also took to his demented Truth Social platform last night and posted this. The Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities, with new and modern homes in the region. They would actually have a chance to be happy, safe and free. The US, working with great development teams from all over the world, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest and most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the US would be needed. Stability for the region would reign. No Gazans in Gaza though, eh? Trump thrives on creating chaos because it brings him attention. And nothing does that better than a wildly unthinkable, unachievable, unethical, blatantly illegal, attention-grabbing proposal that does not have global support and has no plan at all to actually deliver. He talked of a Riviera in the Middle East, then rode back on it. Then took to social media to once again go back to his original crackpot position. There is no logistical way to move nearly 2 million people somewhere else, especially when the somewhere else does not exist. People who are emphatic in their refusal to be moved somewhere else. No political roadmap to see it through peacefully. No legal basis for the US to assume ownership of Gaza. No financial backing for the move, and every other country going, not least the surrounding countries, flat refusing to take these people, despite Trump repeating ad nauseum that they are going to take them. So where did this leave Benjamin Netanyahu? Well, as I spoke about in a video yesterday, from the position of him remaining as Prime Minister, when the Gaza ceasefire has destabilised that, and the risk of his hard-right coalition partners in the religious Zionism party threatening to collapse his government if he doesn't end the ceasefire in Gaza, they are delighted by Trump's plan because it lays Gaza open for settlers to move in, and so from that perspective it has given Netanyahu some security. But on the other hand, has also landed him with a massive headache because it ties him now to pushing ahead with Trump's plans to keep his government together. And thus the harm of Trump's words becomes clear, because not only has it given Israel an insane option to deal with the people of Gaza that they want gone, but now Netanyahu's position of Prime Minister may now depend on somehow making it work. And you have to remember that Netanyahu is a guy who has been Prime Minister for as many years as he has, by avoiding making any meaningful or tough decisions, but making decisions which keep him very much firmly in place. A man who has only ever been in it for himself, as those corruption charges he faces bears out. Yet Trump has set him on a path now that his coalition partners love, and who can bring down the government if he doesn't follow through with them. As a result, no matter how mad an idea it is to push ahead with removing the entire population of Gaza, the planning for it has now begun, and is being headed by Netanyahu's utterly deranged Defense Minister Israel Katz. An excerpt from the Cradle article titled "Israeli War Chief Orders Army to Plan for Voluntary Departure," inverted commas, of Palestinians from Gaza, reading, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said on the 6th of February that he has instructed the military to ready plans for the transfer of large numbers of Palestinians to exit Gaza via land, air and sea routes, while praising US President Donald Trump's calls to expel the Strip's residents to different countries. Katz said he ordered the Israeli army to prepare plans for the voluntary departure of Palestinians in Gaza, according to Israel's Channel 12. I support President Trump's bold proposal. Residents of Gaza should have the freedom to leave and emigrate, as is standard worldwide, the defense minister stated. The minister said the countries who should take in displaced residents of the Gaza Strip are those who criticised Israel's genocidal campaign against Palestinians. Countries like Spain, Ireland, Norway and others who have made accusations and false claims against Israel over its actions in Gaza are legally obligated to allow any Gaza resident to enter their territories. Their hypocrisy will be exposed if they refuse. There are countries like Canada with a structured immigration program that have previously expressed a willingness to accept Gaza residents, Katz added. So all of those countries that have criticised this plan and have attacked Israel for its genocide in Gaza, false claims as they are according to the unhinged Katz, legal obligations to accept Gazans according to the unhinged Katz, will be hypocrites for refusing to take Gazans who voluntarily leave Gaza. And you can't help but feel the word voluntary is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, don't you? Will be voluntary choice between leaving or still breathing for the typical Gazan when such a choice gets put to them by the IDF soldiers, I have no doubt of. Amongst those countries Katz named, though, there has been some reaction already, as Spain and Ireland have shot back at Katz. Another Cradle excerpt explaining all. Spanish Foreign Minister José Manuel Álvarez on the 6th of February rejected the suggestion of Israeli War Chief Israel Katz that Madrid should accept Palestinians forcibly displaced from Gaza. First of all, no one should ever be debating about where Palestinian Gazans should go because that debate is closed. The land of Palestinian Gazans is Gaza. Gaza should be part of the future Palestinian state, just as Spain and the majority of the planet's nations recognise, Álvarez said in an interview with broadcaster RNE. What we are doing is introducing our humanitarian aid as much as possible to help the people after more than 45,000 innocent people fell victim to indiscriminate bombings, Álvarez added, stressing that the world needs to help rebuild Gaza as a first step to getting the state of Palestine, which includes Gaza and the occupied West Bank, on its feet. The EU has made it clear that it is positioned in favour of a two-state solution, he stressed. Ireland's Foreign Ministry also criticised Katz's comments, calling them unhelpful and a source of distraction. The objective must be a massive scale-up of aid into Gaza, return of basic services and a clear framework under which those displaced can return, the ministry said. Yes, about that aid into Gaza, though, which, given the direction of travel Trump's words are now taking Israel, Netanyahu's government can probably justify to themselves making into even more of a problem for the people of Gaza should they feel like it, because the right aid is still not getting in. According to the civil defence in Gaza, the humanitarian protocols are still being ignored by Israel. No mobile homes or heavy machinery to move rubble have yet entered Gaza. Life is impossible because of the lack of capabilities, as they put it. They've accused Israel of intransigence and procrastination when it comes to bringing in the much-needed machinery. Fuel is still not entering sufficiently. The humanitarian situation is continuing to worsen, and those in the north of Gaza, having recently returned, are forced to live with the corpses left behind up there, unable for them to be retrieved. Adding to that viewpoint has been Dr. Marwan al-Hamas, the director of field hospitals in Gaza, what field hospitals have been allowed to be built, who has reiterated Israel's abuse of humanitarian protocols and has spoken of only 120 patients thus far having been allowed to leave Gaza for treatment when 35,000 need to do so. Israel had prevented the setting up of field hospitals to treat others. Medical supplies have been designated as not a priority, and no blankets or winter clothes have been getting in either. Patients are dying waiting for treatment, including 40% of all kidney patients, and one field hospital is currently all that is in operation for the whole of Rafah, as there's no functional hospital or medical centre left there. But why give them this stuff if Israel have now been given a presidential green light for ethnic cleansing, though, eh? That is where we are at now. Israel are pushing ahead with plans to volunteer people out of the Gaza Strip, probably whether they want to go or not. And with the ceasefire likely to end within weeks, the choice may be to go voluntarily without any idea of a destination not actually existing at this point, or stay and face genocide once again. If you thought Netanyahu was mad before, though, imagine after the pager attack in Lebanon last year that killed so many indiscriminately as pagers and walkie-talkies exploded, of him giving a pager as a gift to someone and thinking that to be an appropriate present. I'd be calling for the bomb squad, but Donald Trump simply said that was a good operation. Was it, though? Get all the details of that story and more crackpottery as we see who is really in charge in the US now in this video recommendation here as your suggested next watch. Please do also hit like, share and subscribe before you do so, though, if you haven't already, so as to ensure you don't miss out on more daily content dropping each day and help support the channel at the same time, which is hugely appreciated as well. And I will hopefully catch you therefore on the next vid. Cheers, folks.